aggressive here. Don't want to really allow them to back away. He jumped in. I'm going to buy a little bit of time for my Fenrir to get here, and now we're going to go pretty crazy on him that the Fenrir is here. I'm going to go ahead and hit him with a couple of auto attacks with my first ability. Dash will root him in place. 3 more auto attacks. 1 if I get the help with some damage from my team. Might go ahead and ult him to ensure that we can slow him, and then a couple of auto attacks coupled with the damage from my team will be enough to grab us that double kill. Very nicely done from the Fenrir. Good gank. Good job by the Aphrodite as well. And so when those items are... Ooh, actually, I ran into them doing this Naga. I'm able to kill the Hecate pretty easily here. I'm staring at 2 people. I should be able to kill them both. Mordred is gone, and unfortunately, I'm just barely shy of killing the on her. Truth of the matter is there were just too many things body blocking my autos there. Hello, hope you guys are doing well, and today I'm bringing you some Medusa gameplay. I know I haven't posted in a while. I'm sorry for that, but we're back at it again with some Medusa. If you wanted the build, then it's at the top of your screen now in the form of a screenshot, and you can also now build it in the auto build system. The Medusa one has been updated to the newest one, which is the one that you're going to see in this video. So you can go ahead and use my build the next time you play Medusa. All right, with that out of the way, I don't know if I had anything else to mention. I've been missing. A new Leve album came out. Kind of been just listening to that, chilling. What are you guys doing? There is something that I want to talk about here in a second, but before that, let's commentate a little bit over what's going on. We're going up against an on her, and thankfully not Sobek. Sobek is like the bane of my absolute existence. I just cannot fucking stand Sobek. Nice stun will stop me from taking quite a lot of damage, and hopefully we're able to secure this camp. I can't hit autos, but hopefully, nice. She body blocked for it, therefore we were able to pick up that camp, and we have a pretty nice little lead. At least for the time being. I want to make sure that we clear this ASAP so that we can go ahead and contest for that blue buff over in the left side, because as you guys have probably heard me say time and time again, these jungle camps are where it's at. It's probably the most important thing is going to be securing all the jungle camps around the duo lane. I'm going to try to hit the enemy ADC. I'm taking a lot of damage, so I want to position behind the support and then try to go ahead and kill him. He did jump in on her. I'm hoping that she survives. She needs to juke an auto or 2. We managed to kill him, but he killed her right before we did, which is unfortunate. He continues to go on us. We should be able to kill him, but unfortunately he's not. He knows better. We'll get the return kill, but on her did get the first blood, which kind of sucks. I probably could have done a little bit of work to body block at least 1 or 2 autos and probably saved her. Unfortunately, I'm not good enough apparently. At the very least, we're gonna be able to grab this blue buff. Pretty decent start for me. I'm hoping that she picks up the blue buff because she shares her mana with my mana, or her mana regen. So it's a lot better on her. Now in this lane, it really is going to either be horrid or be very easy. The truth of the matter is every horrible like shit on her over relies on their jump knock up to secure their second ability. And the cool thing is with on her that if you hit someone with that in the like mid to late game, that shit one shots. But also if, for example, you jump on me, a Medusa, I could just start casting my ult, and by the time you land, not only am I CC immune, but you're also going to land right into my ultimate, get stunned, and end up taking a lot of return damage. So that's a nice little counter matchup that we have. If he is one of those on hers that tends to jump in a lot. We've secured quite a lot of the surrounding jungle camps, so I know that we're going to hit level 5 sooner than they are, so I want to make sure that I'm in a position to be aggressive once that happens. So I don't want to lose too much health here. I just kind of want to stand back, clear the minion wave so that we can hit level 5, and then if something crazy happens, we're going to have our ultimates available. That's the second ability down, and our Fenrir is in the near area, so I want to be super aggressive here. Don't want to really allow them to back away. He jumped in. I'm going to buy a little bit of time for my Fenrir to get here, and now we're going to go pretty crazy on him that the Fenrir is here. I'm going to go ahead and hit him with a couple of auto attacks with my first ability. Dash will root him in place. 3 more auto attacks. 1 if I get the help with some damage from my team. Might go ahead and ult him to ensure that we can slow him, and then a couple of auto attacks coupled with the damage from my team will be enough to grab us that double kill. Very nicely done from the Fenrir. Good gank. Good job by the Aphrodite as well, allowing me to grab 3 kills so far in the early game. And now when I back, I should be able to finish off my item completely and start stacking it, which is going to be huge. Again, in this video, or in these like gameplay build videos, we talk really in-depthly into the build. We talk a little bit about Medusa. We talk a little bit about playing ADC. But what this video is it's not going to be a complete Medusa guide. If that's what you're looking for, I have my complete Medusa guide already done. I'm going to try to remember to link it down in the description, but in case I forget, you could just go into my channel and look at the character guide section, and the Medusa guide alongside a bunch of other character guides will be there. You can also find all types of stuff on my channel to include general guides like my complete Smite 2 beginner's guide if that's something you're interested in, or just other gameplay build videos like these. So yeah, self-promotion moment over. All this to say, I'm gonna have the beads here and dash away. All this to say that that's what we're gonna cover in this video. And if you were completely new to Medusa, you can check out my guide for him. Okay, so this is the topic that I want to talk about very quickly. I don't want it to take up too much of the video. As you guys know, if you guys are a fan of Hollow Knight, Silksong is coming out on the 4th of September, and I'm super excited for it. I've beat Hollow Knight like a billion times. It's one of my favorite. It's one of like the only single player game that I really truly enjoyed. I'm a very competitive person. That and like the Zelda series. So I was wondering if you guys are into Hollow Knight, if you guys know about Silksong, and if you guys want to watch me play it, because it's coming up soon and I want to know if it's worth my time to kind of record my playthrough of Silksong. That's something you guys would be interested in watching. Now, second follow-up question to that is, if yes, would you want me to post it on this channel, or would you want me to make a separate channel where I post everything that isn't Smite and just keep this channel directly, you know, Smite related? So let me know that down in the comments. I'm going to dash after him and do a lot of damage, slow him with my ultimate ability. He's going to go ahead and ult me. We should be able to kill him here, but unfortunately the Mordred's coming. I'm going to have to wait for the Mordred to get here and then kill him with a second ability with, you know, the collateral damage, using him to launch that second acid spray at him. We'll be able to get the kill. I'm not mad. We would have died to the Mordred no matter what, and we found a way to turn it around and actually end up killing the on her as well. So that's actually pretty happy about the way that went. I'm talking too fast and I'm stumbling over my words. I'm sorry. Just excited about Hollow Knight, or rather Silksong. So yeah, let me know. Are you down to watch me play Silksong, like a legit, just regular playthrough of it? On this channel, are you interested at all? If you are interested, would you want it on this channel? Would you want it on a second channel? Just let me know all of that down in the comments. I'll put up a poll as well on my Discord server and just on the YouTube, so you guys can let me know. So if you guys wouldn't mind leaving a comment letting me know what you guys think, and like in that regard, I'd really appreciate it, because it's coming. It's next week, so I don't really have much time to make a decision on this, if I'm going to post it at all, and if so, on which channel, this one or some other channel that I make. Anyways, end of that topic. Let's keep talking about the game. So for starters, literally for starters, your starter item, we are going to be talking about Gilded Arrow. Why Gilded Arrow, if Gilded Arrow? So the reason you would go Gilded Arrow is if you're going to be building critical strike chance. I think in every single situation, if you're going to be building critical strike chance, then you should be building Gilded Arrow. I cannot I cannot emphasize enough how nice it is to have that guaranteed critical strike chance from your starter item, and that allows you to go either another 2 critical strike chance items in the rest of your build, 2 dedicated critical strike chance items plus your starter item. Whereas if you didn't go Gilded Arrow, you'd have to dedicate 3 complete items towards your critical strike chance, which a lot of the times I don't really enjoy doing, because I like to have my build have like a variety and be able to basically handle everything that gets thrown my way. Sometimes that includes dealing with the tankier characters, sometimes that includes dealing with the squishier characters, so on and so forth. I should be able to kill him here. I'm waiting for him to dash. There's the dash down. I'm going to go ahead and dash him back. I'm going to go ahead and hit him with that. The ultimate's unfortunately going to get body blocked by the wall, but then left with absolutely 0 options but to attempt to run. I was never going to actually ever miss that auto attack, so we will be able to pick up that kill and then pick up this camp. And then just watch out a little bit in case we get rotated on, because Mordred is very, very scary in the early to mid game. But yeah, I tend to like to be able to throw a bunch of stuff in my build that allow me to basically deal with the entirety of the enemy team as a whole. So I want some protection shred through like Executioner and Kinsblade and things of that nature. I want a heavy amount of attack speed, and then I want critical strike chance. And I don't really like dedicating 3 whole item slots to critical strike chance, because when you're getting an item that has critical strike chance, especially when it's Rage or Deathbringer, then those items like specifically give you critical strike chance and nothing else, right? Whereas an item like what is it? Demon Blade, which is the one that we have as our second item here, will give you attack speed and penetration, and that works really well hand in hand. But yeah, anyways, just moral of the story, too long didn't read, TLDR if you will. I like to, we should die. We might be able to try to get the kill credit, but Zeus might do it instead. I'm going to clear this wave, but call the attack the Gold Fury. This should be a pretty easy Gold Fury with him dead, and if anybody else shows up, then I should be able to handle them pretty easily, especially considering just how far ahead I am. It's a tremendous lead that I have over this bar on her. But yeah, like I was mentioning, yeah, diversity in your stats through your build. It's getting a starter item that gives you critical strike chance, or at least guarantees you critical strike chance in the later half of the game, allows you to build into more interesting and diverse items that allow you to basically handle everything that comes your way a little bit easier in the later half of the game. Up next, after your starter item, I like to go into Devourer's Gauntlet, whatever it's called. This just gives you lifesteal. It stacks forever now. It's a very fun item. It's overpowered. And then also just allows you to sustain in lane. It's not even so much as a like I'm hitting you and I'm lifestealing, so I'm gonna win the fight and you're gonna lose if you don't have lifesteal. It really truly is. I'm allowed to stay in lane longer because I have this lifesteal, right? Because I have this lifesteal, I get this extra minion wave, I get this extra jungle camp, or I'm in a position to get this jungle camp and you can't come anywhere near me because you don't have, you know, any healing and you're kind of low health. So an extra 2 minion waves, or an extra 2 minions here, an extra jungle camp or 2 there. And like I mentioned earlier, jungle camps are basically the bread and butter of playing in the ADC lane, and this is how you gain your insurmountable lead like the one that I have now. And even after you have a lead, you're always going to continue to heavily prioritize all of the jungle and farm around the duo lane, because that's how you're going to gain a lead, and if you already have one, maintain your lead, is by controlling all of the jungle camps and starving your enemy of experience and gold, all while boosting the amount of experience and gold that you're gaining. And again, lifesteal assists with this philosophy by allowing you to stay in lane longer, sustaining through some of the damage that you end up taking during the laning phase activities. And then obviously this leads to you just clearing more jungle camps, staying for more waves, and gaining level and experience gold leads. Alright, there's the ultimate that I'm going to be able to use to kill him here. He's going to do a lot of damage because I can't shoot him through this, and then unfortunately the Mordred is here, so I will end up dying here. This time I won't be able to get the return kill, which is unfortunate. I've been placing wards. I feel like I've just been overstaying in lane a little bit too long, and my wards run out, and that's when I get into some real danger. No worries though, I still have a pretty large lead over my opponent, so I'm not too worried. Alright, back in lane we find ourselves. We talked about your starter item and the secondary item. Now let's talk a little bit about Demon Blade. Demon Blade is probably the very best early game, actually the best early game critical strike chance item you can get, because it doesn't just give you crit. It gives you attack speed, which you're desperately going to need. Now, as we look into possibly attacking him, he's being very cautious. But if he decides to be cautious, then that's an easy thing for us to do, is just to come and take his jungle camp. And the only thing we have to worry about is the jungler possibly pulling up. So I'm keeping a good eye onto my minimap and making sure that that doesn't happen, because he will definitely kill me basically every single time at this stage of the game. Later on, he gets one shot, but at this very stage of the game, he does get one shot. All right, I'm going to clear this wave, and then I should be able to claim that purple buff pretty easily. But yeah, Demon Blade is probably the very best thing. There are 2 ways to increase your critical strike chance. It's to buy more critical strike chance or to buy more attack speed, because the more attack speed you have, the more attacks you throw out every second, and each of those attacks has an individual chance to crit. So both are valid ways to increase your critical strike chance. So those pair well together. It's literally like peanut butter and jelly, attack speed and critical strike chance, because not only are you gaining an increase in chance that you hit a critical strike just by having more critical strike chance, but you also increase your chance to hit critical strikes by having more attack speed. So these 2 things work very well together. Where they differ is if you get more critical strike chance, then you're just getting that, more chances to crit, as we run into the Mordred. But this time the Mordred is by himself up against 2 of us. He is very low, but unfortunately the rest of his team showed up. We should be able to kill him here soon. The Zeus is showing up, and he's going to be a pretty big bulk of our damage. Down goes the Mordred, and now I'm going to go ahead and focus on the Hecate, which I should be able to kill pretty easily. I'm going to cut around the back to attempt to cut off the Ganesha and on her here. That's about the correct way to jump. Unfortunately, the Zeus did end up hitting his first ability for the slow, and massive amounts of damage on her will fall to the jungler, and now the Gold Fury is up and ripe for the taking. Very nice fight and good rotation from my team. allowed us to not only gain that fight as a victory, but also now the Gold Fury as a constellation prize. Huge amount of gold in our favor, considering we were already super extremely far ahead, not just in terms of me and my lane, but just the team as a whole is very far ahead. This is going to be a very insurmountable hill that they have to climb to try to be on even ground with us. But anyways, like I was mentioning, where increasing your critical strike chance through critical strike chance or attack speed differ is critical strike chance will give you just that, a higher chance to crit every attack you hit. Whereas attack speed will give you that as well, higher chance to crit because you're letting out more attacks per second. But at the same time, it's going to mean that you stack things like executioner more often, right? You deal more damage through Kin's Blade. Like, this attack speed will do more than just give you critical strike chance. It will work well with the rest of your build. And that is why I tend to like to focus a little bit more on, you know, being around 50 to 60% critical strike chance and not any more than that, because you don't want to put all of your eggs in one basket. You don't want to put all of your eggs in that critical strike chance basket and then be unable to keep up with some of the tankier characters, be unable to have the attack speed necessary to actually shred some of these objectives, so on and so forth, to properly apply and stack executioner, Kin's Blade, and things of that nature, which I think is very important and a thing that not a lot of people think about. Specifically, also, you have to keep in mind that critical strike chance can be countered, right? We have items such as spectral armor that will not only reduce the amount of critical strike chance that you have, but also reduce the damage that they deal. So you have to keep these things in mind, right? And that's why I tend to go for this type of diverse build with not only a heavy, healthy amount of critical strike chance to deal with some of the squishier characters, but also a lot of attack speed and tank shred to ensure that I'm able to deal with just about anything that gets thrown my way by the enemy team. And I'm sure that as we continue with the remainder of this game, you guys are going to be able to see just how versatile this build is when it comes to even fighting this enemy Sobek, who's probably going to be a big problem in the late game, fighting some of the squishier characters, taking down towers, taking down Gold Fury, etc, etc. So with that being said, also Demon Blade is your best option for critical strike chance, because that passive that gives you even more attack speed when you hit a critical strike is very impressive in the early game, specifically when the enemy team is not expecting it, right? You hit that critical strike and then you gain that extra bonus attack speed, and it ends up being quite a lot of damage that you're able to dish out. A lot of the time, something that the enemy team or enemy opponent isn't kind of ready for, and it ends up usually leading towards an early kill, which is nice to have. Furthermore, or rather next we go Odysseus Bow. Again, I already mentioned that attack speed goes very well with critical strike chance. Odysseus Bow is basically the highest attack speed item you can get, and then the beautiful passive allows you to not only deal more damage to the enemy team, but also clear wave and jungle camps a lot more efficiently, which is very important. So yeah, that's pretty much it for attack speed. Now, I am a little bit, or trying to be a little bit weary about the fact that the enemy jungler could pull up at any second. I'm looking at the minimap and I literally don't see anyone but the Hecate. So I'm just going to go ahead and retreat and look at clearing some of these camps, because again, I don't want to be caught off guard if the jungler does show up. But now I see the jungler is in mid, so now I have a chance to get aggressive. With his jump, he'll immune a great amount of the damage from my first ability, and then with his subsequent wall, he actually won't end up taking any damage, which sucks. Playing very, very passive. At the same time, these jungle camps are up, so I'm not too worried about it. I have a pretty large lead up against him. He can't really fight me on even ground. Would do some good damage to him. Unfortunately, I'm not hitting many auto attacks because he's backpedaling. But I have lowered him enough to where I could just get these jungle camps for free and then back for my next item. Next item of which will be Executioner. At this stage of the game, you know, we're looking at 18 minutes in, and again, I'm extremely far ahead. If I wasn't, then I might get this item a little bit later, in like the 20-minute mark, if you're not doing too well. It's around this time when you're going to start rotating the Gold Furies, Pyromancers, right? People are going to start rotating towards you. You're going to start joining some of these larger team fights, and in these team fights, you are going to run into the enemy, you know, Sobex, the enemy solo laner supports, these tankier characters where your critical strike chance and attack speed is going to be basically useless up against them if they have teammates next to them. If it's just you and them, then you can put up quite a good fight. But if they have literally anyone else there, you won't have the damage to get them off of you, while they also have somebody else firing at you the whole time you're trying to focus on, you know, getting them away from you. All this to say, it's at this stage of the game that you're going to need some avenue to deal with some of the tankier characters, and Executioner is a great option in the early game. Rather mid game at this point, because it will reduce their protections heavily with the attack speeds that you hit. And at this point in the game with this build, you have a really large amount of attack speed, so you can very quickly stack up your penetration up against the enemy. Now, ultimate coming out onto from the enemy Mordred, doing a lot of damage to me, so I'm going to go ahead and back off here. I'm not out of the fight yet. I'm going to make sure that I continue to deal some damage here, auto-attacking the Mordred, which will die to me and our support, or rather, jungler. Ultimate will connect onto 2 of them, and I'll be able to deal a lot of damage. Fenrir unfortunately dies here. I don't want to back because I don't want to let them do this Gold Fury, but I also don't want to get close enough to get plucked or get hit by any collateral damage that might end up in my death, because obviously I don't want to die and then let them get Gold Fury. The whole point of me staying here and being risky about it is to ensure that they can't get the Gold Fury. As such, I'm going to have to end up beating that CC to ensure that I don't die. Now the Sobek will insta-die to our Zeus. Very nice job. But now the Kali's here, and the Kali could help us either get this Gold Fury or just ensure that they don't get it. I'm sure they won't let us get it, but there's a chance that they do, so I'm going to go ahead and start it. And if they show up, then there's no problem. We just walk away. Either way, that was pretty successful considering we pretty evenly traded with the enemy team, and we stopped them from doing Gold Fury. I'm going to go ahead and call the retreat here. We're definitely not going to be able to do this with him here. But anyways, like I mentioned earlier, after the Executioner, which is going to give you some attack speed and tank shred, you're going to want to go into your third and last critical strike chance item, which is Deathbringer. Deathbringer is imperative. You never want to buy it first, second, or third item, but either your second to last, if not last item, you definitely want to get Deathbringer in a crit build, because not only does it give you more critical strike chance, but the passive is the important part. The passive makes it so that the critical strike chances that you do hit end up dealing a significantly larger amount of damage, which is what opens you up to that one-shot style of play in the later half of the game after you have that item, right? And then finally, you want to finish it off with something like a Kinsblade, right? Kinsblade is going to be the second hand or the second part of your tank shred journey, right? Whereas the Executioner will allow you to shred the enemy tank's protections, Kinsblade is going to allow you to deal bonus damage based on their high health bars. So you kind of counter them both ways, right? You're countering their protections and also you're countering their health bars. Now, him out of position, I should be able to kill him here pretty easily, especially if he doesn't see me coming, that of which he did not. I'm going to start to initiate with my first ability here. I don't want to jump him because I want to wait for him to jump first. Now that he jumped, I can go ahead and jump after him and kill him here pretty easily. It's going to be a little bit touch and go, but at the end of the day, I could just press 4 and deal that large amount of damage. And I was able to kill him. And now I'm actually going to make the decision not to join that mid lane fight and trust my team to hold it down at least a little bit and just take both towers on this side. And then after I take both of these towers, I literally never have to come back to the side of the map, and the rest of the game can be spent helping my team deal with some of these bigger objectives and take care of these Fire Giants, Gold Furies, other towers around the map, and help with these team fights. But for now, I'm just gonna let them lose that fight and retreat in order to get both of these towers. Anyways, where was I? Oh yeah, I do want to make a note about Executioner and Kinsblade, that you genuinely or generally don't want to go Kinsblade before Exy, because the damage that you're dealing, the bonus damage that Kinsblade does based on how much health they have, right? The more health the enemy has that you're hitting, the more bonus damage you're going to deal per auto attack, right? This bonus damage is affected by protections. So if they have a lot of protections, then this bonus damage is going to be significantly reduced. So you want to have some penetration first so that you get full use out of the Kinsblade by dealing a decent amount of bonus damage. And that's me talking about the build. I know I spent a lot of time talking about the build, but I love to tell you guys not only what I'm building, but I want to tell you guys why you're building it. I think we should be able to fight him since we have a lot of tank shred. So it should be fine. But then that's the height of the Nemean line is going to reflect some of my own damage that I'm dealing onto him back towards me. And because I do a lot of damage to him, that means I do a lot of damage to myself. So that'll be the end of that fight. And now that I know he has that item, we're going to have to be very conscious when we fight him to make sure that we pay attention for that sound cue and that visual cue of when he pops that item, so that we're not attacking him when it has gone off. Because late game, if we hit him with 4 auto attacks and while that item is active, we literally just insta-kill ourselves. Gotta keep that in mind. But yeah, I want to know you guys exactly why you're building the items. That way you know in what situations you might not want to build those items, right? And so when those items are... Oh, actually, I ran into them doing this Naga. I'm able to kill the Hecate pretty easily here. I'm staring at 2 people. I should be able to kill them both. Mordred is gone, and unfortunately, I'm just barely shy of killing the On-Her. Truth of the matter is there were just too many things body blocking my autos there. The Naga body blocked and tanked a couple of the autos, and then also the On-Her pillar tanked a couple autos too, so unfortunately I wasn't able to kill all 3. But at the same time, I managed to kill 2 of them, and On-Her is now out of the fight. So my team should be able to do a lot with that, whether they want to go for this tower and Phoenix combo, or even something like a Pyromancer. And considering that we have another ADC, this Kali, they could even maybe even do Gold Fury, or sorry, Fire Giant. It felt like it. But yeah, anyways, just to cap off the itemization, you don't have to go all of these items, right? There are some substitution items in certain situations. Like for example, in this specific situation, their Ganesha isn't that tanky, so I'm not going to go the Kin's Blade. I think that the Executioner is enough, and instead I want to go either for more power, more attack speed, or more crit. Like I mentioned earlier, I don't really care for getting more crit than I already do. I think this is more than enough. So I'm going to instead go for, what's that item called? Lernian Bow, I think is what it's called. To have that extra amount of attack speed, which again helps me just crit more often without actually having to get more crits, stack this Executioner more often. But also the passive is really, or rather active, is really nice to have because it allows you to deal a lot of quick damage without slowing yourself down with auto attack penalties. I'm gonna go ahead and dash into the safety of my tower. I take that back. He will body block my dash masterfully with his pillar, and that will basically make me go on the retreat here. Very nice pillar. So yeah, we'll go the Lernian Bow, and that will cap off the build. Again, in a game where you're actually having trouble up against some of the tankier characters, then you can go ahead and go for the Lernian Bow. Now this time I saw that their entire team went for Gold Fury, so I think that me and this Fenrir alongside this Kali, which will be here soon, can do this Fire Giant in the time that it takes them to do Gold Fury and run over here. This Fire Giant would already be done because I have an insane amount of damage. With all of this attack speed and critical strike chance, I should be able to get rid of this Fire Giant before the enemy team even has time to get over here. And that way we've turned a loss situation into a complete win on our side, because this Fire Giant also guarantees the Pyromancer and obviously gives us the Fire Giant buff to push Phoenix's towers with, etc, etc. So this should be the end of the game right there. Their mistake was A2, sending everybody to the Gold Fury when Fire Giant was up and win their late game. I probably could have soloed that thing by myself, to be honest. And then also B, just not having it worded, so they didn't even know that we were doing it. And now we should be able to pretty easily take down this tier 2 tower. And then we have the option to go for the Phoenix in right, the Phoenix in mid, or the tower in left. All of these are options that we have available to us, and this will assist us in ending the game. I'm gonna go ahead and beat this, and then he should be able to be killed. Fortunately, he took the teleporter over and got away. Anyone that enters my auto attack range and gets hit by like 5 auto attacks, I mean, if it's this Hecate, 4 auto attacks and she's dead. If it's this Ganesha, maybe like 6 autos. I should be able to kill him alongside my team. So right now, my basic goal is to keep these 3 people from going over in left, ensuring that hopefully they can win that fight in left. And we should be able to get this Phoenix as well. I do have the blade. I got stunned and took a lot of damage, unfortunately. But I do have the blade, and I should be able to use it here to gain all of my health back and make sure that this Phoenix is taken down. Also, my team was successfully able to take down the left Phoenix, and I should be able to kill this Hecate pretty easily. And now it's looking like we can possibly end the game. I hope you guys enjoyed that video. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Specifically, do subscribe so you don't miss out on future content such as this. I post anything from, you know, gameplay build videos like the one you're watching now, character guides, and just regular guys. This is probably a mistake. If he knocks me up under Phoenix, I just insta-die. But at the same time, while he's sitting here doing this, we're game ending, so it doesn't really matter to me. Join my Discord if you need help or want a friendly community to play Smite with. Anyways, love you guys. See you next one. Bye.